it's Nicole and Stormy. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is for the new After the Rain collection from ILNP. This release features 6 polishes in the brand's boutique line, i.e. it has fun stuff in it. For everyone who is ready for Halloween, this is it. This is the collection that you're going to want to look at. The After the Rain collection is available right now on the ILNP website, which I will of course have linked down below. And in case you were unaware, ILNP is also available on Amazon as well as Etsy, so I'll have those pages listed in the description box as well. The brand describes the After the Rain collection as 6 flaky shimmer polishes. All of the polishes featured in today's video were gifted to me by ILNP. However, this video is not sponsored. Thank you very much to the ILNP team for gifting me these polishes. So as always, in the description box, I will have links to where you can pick these polishes up, as well as links to the brand's social media pages. Also have listed to my social media pages, and of course timestamps as well. And as per usual, I'll save all my final thoughts, feelings, opinions, yammerings for the end of the video. Let's get into it. First up, we have Raincoat, which ILNP describes as a rich and rustic orange jelly with an orange to green shifting flaky shimmer alongside a whisper of holographic sparkle. Raincoat had a fantastic formula. Because this one is in a jelly base, you're going to want to build this one up. I'm going to call it a 2 to 3 coater depending on your application style and personal preference. I did find that in 2 coats I had fairly obvious visible nail line, but I opted to add a 3rd coat largely because I wanted more flakies on the nail. With the 3rd coat, you do get a more richer and deeper base color. This is a very warm toned orange shade that in my opinion leans very strongly towards a red. The holographic sparkle in this polish is very delicate. I did not even catch that these had holographic in them until I was on like the 3rd swatch. Nothing in here is going to dry down overly textured. You're going to have some very slight texture from the flakies, but I did find them to lay down pretty flat. The flakies aren't going to be the worst thing ever to scrub off, but always with flakies, I generally do recommend using the soak off method or peel off base coat. And now we have Gingersnap, which is described as being a gingerbread brown jelly base with an iridescent orange to green flaky shimmer alongside a whisper of holographic sparkle. Gingersnap also had a fantastic formula. As you just saw on that 1st coat, this one starts off pretty sheer. So this is going to be one of the polishes in this collection that I do think looks best in 3 coats. I would not recommend trying to make this one a 2 coater.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I found it just wasn't quite even enough coverage for me personally in 2 coats. This is a really pretty warm brown shade. I feel like this one just looks very cozy. While ILNP does describe these polishes as being flaky shimmers, I don't see any shimmer in these polishes. To my eye, these all look like jelly bases with iridescent flakies and a very light dusting of holographic. Something else of note that I saw in Gingersnap, this does seem to be a little bit darker on the nail than it appears in the bottle, which isn't really that big of a deal because I don't think ILNP is sold in any physical stores anyway, but I noticed it, so I thought to mention it anyway. And while the flakies do dry down fairly flat, I still will recommend glossy top coat and using the soak off method for removal. And now we have Dark Roast, which ILNP describes as a cocoa brown jelly base with that same orange to green iridescent flaky, as well as the whisper of holographic sparkle. I found Dark Roast to be very interesting. Initially when I saw this in the bottle, I thought this was going to be a gray base, so I was really surprised on the nail when it turned out to be a brown. I would still say that while I would put this in the brown family, it does seem to have like a little bit of gray undertones to it. Dark Roast is another one of the polishes in this collection that I would highly recommend building it up in 3 coats. Once again, it starts off very sheer, and I didn't feel like I got that much more coverage on the 2nd coat, so 3 coats was like the sweet spot for this one. I did still have a little bit of visible nail line with this shade after 3 coats, but not so much that I found it in any way distracting. And even though all of the polishes in this collection have the exact same formulation and flakies, I feel like the flakies pulling off a bit more of that orangey golden kind of look in the brown base was particularly pretty. Once again, the flakies are not going to give you too much trouble on removal, but as always, I do recommend the soak off method. And now we have Jumping Puddles, which ILNP describes as a slate blue jelly polish with that same orange to green iridescent flakies and that light dusting of holographic. Jumping Puddles also had a fantastic formula. It was just slightly on the thicker side, but the kind of thickness that I generally expect from a flaky polish. I honestly don't know if ILNP knows how to release a polish with a wonky formula. I have yet to encounter one. I always forget how much I like slate blues until fall rolls around. This kind of slightly grayed out blue base is just so enjoyable to look at. I would say that Jumping Puddles is going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on your own personal preference. While the third coat once again does deepen up the base color and add more coverage, I thought coverage was pretty good in 2 coats. I was able to reach full opacity with this shade in 3 coats. I feel like in this particular base color, the flakies almost have like a pinkish color to them, even though it's the same orange to green flakies we've seen this entire release. As with all the polishes in the collection, I do recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat, but you could scrub these off if you wanted and it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. This next polish is called Drizzle, and ILNP describes it as a deep midnight blue jelly base with those exact same iridescent flakies that we've seen over and over again, with that itty bitty scattering of holographic sparkle. Drizzle had a pretty good formula. I found this one to apply a bit more unevenly than the other polishes in the release though. I expected it to kind of build up easier because it's such a dark shade, but I suppose they had to kind of thin it out a little bit to be able to get to see the flakies. So this is another one of the polishes that I would recommend building this one up in 3 coats. I found in 2 coats it still looked a little bit patchy and uneven on me. I did find that Drizzle is a pretty dark blue. I think in very low lighting this is going to look like a blue-black, but I think in other light sources it's very clearly just going to be like a deep blue shade. I feel like the flakies lean a lot more strongly towards green in this base. Again, it's the exact same flakies that we've seen in the other 4 polishes in this release, which means removal is not going to be overly difficult, and I would still recommend the soak off method. However, because this one is such a pigmented blue, I would doubly recommend the soak off method. And the final polish in this collection is called Stormwatch. The brand describes this as a cool toned light gray jelly base with those exact same iridescent orange to green flakies and a light scattering of holographic. Once again, we have a fantastic formula. It was again slightly on the thicker side, but the general level of thickness that I expect from a flaky filled polish. This is another one of the shades that I think look best built up in 3 coats. I didn't find that the level of coverage that I was seeing in 2 coats alongside the color that I was seeing on the nail were close enough to what I saw in the bottle to say it was good in 2. When built up in 3 coats, I found the overall color of this polish is on the darker end of light gray towards like medium gray. I know I am a strong sucker for a gray polish for fall, but I absolutely love how the flakies look in this base color. And just like all the other polishes, the holographic is very delicate. Like, don't pick these up thinking you're gonna get like a wham bam holographic moment. The flakies are 1000% the star of the show for this release. And for the final time, I do recommend the soak off method or a peel off base coat for the polishes in this release, but you could scrub these off if you really wanted to. Okie dokie, so final thoughts. As someone who is currently very much over the hot humidity of summer, I am here for fall collections dropping on August 1st. I know there's going to be a lot of thoughts on fall collections dropping on August 1st, but that's just how things work. That's just how it goes. For this collection in particular, I absolutely love the color story of this release. Even though I usually prefer for collections to have like a variety of components in them and not everything being exactly the same and just in different base colors, I feel like when the color story is really pleasing to the eye, I'm not that mad at it. I personally thought it was really neat that this collection featured 2 different kind of brownish shades. I feel like we don't get a ton of browns released just in general from brands, so like I will always welcome multiples. As far as my own personal top picks from this release, I feel like Dark Roast is probably gonna be like my top pick. I don't know, I'm really struggling with deciding on like a top 2 or 3 from these. I'm trying to base my top picks off of what colors I think that I would likely reach for the most, and I feel like Dark Roast and Raincoat probably would be the ones that I reach for the most for fall, but Stormwatch and Jumping in Puddles also really made it onto my like, ooh, I really like that list as well. As far as pricing and sale information goes, the After the Rain collection is available right now on the ILNP website. All of the polishes in this release are going to be priced at $12.50. There is a special bundle listing available for $75. For the first week of sale, all individual polishes in the collection are going to be priced at $11.50. If you are unaware, the first week every collection is available. They do give a special, I think it's 10% off the initial price for all new releases, which by the way, I feel like is a really nice touch that they do. And as is typical with ILNP, this release is not going to be a limited edition. If you are seeking out any brands that are like very low FOMO, ILNP would be a fantastic one. I feel like it's very rare for them to discontinue anything, and they keep things in stock for like ever. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking it? Have you already picked it up? Waiting for a sale? Y'all know I just want all the thoughts and feelings. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, Shenanigang Story fans, your names all on the screen right now. And don't forget, we do have a special members only live stream happening this Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is a link for that in the description box, or you can click join next to the subscribe button. And also, I do want to mention, I do also have a Discord server if you are, you know, Discording. So just thank you all for joining for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stormy also really appreciates you being here. I know you can't tell because Stormy! Okay, there we go. She refuses to look this way, so you can't tell, but she's definitely very happy to have you here. So just thank you all for joining for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
When I get high, I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah.